Saint Bartholomew's was established by Rahir, a courtier and favorite of King Henry I. It is thought that it was the death of the king's wife Matilda, followed by 2 years later by the drowning of their heir Prince William. His brother, half-brother, and sister that prompted Rahir to renounce his profession for a worthy life and make his pilgrimage to Rome. In Rome, like many pilgrims, he fell ill. As he lay delirious, he prayed for his life, vowing that if he survived, he would set up a hospital for poor in London. His prayers were answered and he recovered. As he turned for home, the vision of Saint Bartholomew appeared to him and said, "I am Bartholomew, who have come to help thee in thy straits. I have chosen a spot in a suburb of London at Smithfield, where in my name thou shalt found a church." A suburb here means outside the wall of the city, but not outside the city itself, whose boundary is defined by the bars, example, Temple Bar, Holborn Bar. true to his word, Rahir set up both a church, a priory of Augustinian canons, and a hospital. He lives to see their completion. Indeed, he served as both prior of the priory and master of the hospital. And it is possible that he was nursed at Bart's before his death in 1145. His tomb lies in the church. Priory was dissolved in 1539, and the nave of the church was demolished. The monastic buildings were largely intact, and the canon's choir and sanctuary were preserved for parish use. Under Queen Mary, there was briefly a house of Dominican friars here, before it reverted to being a parish church under the Queen Elizabeth I. Various parts of the buildings were damaged or destroyed through the centuries until the restoration began in the 19th century. First in the 1860s, and then under Sir Aston Webb in the 1880s and the 90s, and on into the 20th century. St. Bartolomew the Great is the living church, but it also attracts those of no particular religion's belief, because it is architectural sense of history. Today, the Charter House is home to a community of brothers who benefits from the charity established by Thomas Sutton early in 17th century. However, our story is much more than the story of the almshouse, for we have been living the nation's history since 1348. Peer closely through the half-light of the master's court at dusk and you might make out the ghosts of Victorian physicians or plague victims. Catch a glimpse of Elizabeth I commanding one of her courtiers, or spy the 14-year-old John Wesley kneeling at prayer. The story begins in 1348 during the Black Death, when the land was used as a burial ground for victims of plague. In 1371, the Charter House was built, a Carthusian monastery which flourished throughout the later medieval and early Tudor period. With the dissolution of monasteries, the chamber house became a mansion for wealthy noblemen and a refuge for royalty. Elizabeth I met the Privy Council here in the day before her coronation in 1558, and James I used the Great Chamber to create 130 new barons before he was crowned. But it was in 1611 that Thomas Sutton bought the chamber house and established the foundation that now bears his name. Thomas Sutton's will provided for up to 80 brothers, either decrepit or old captains, either at sea or at land, maimed or disabled, soldiers, merchants falling on hard times, those ruined by shipwreck or other calamity, as well as the Charterhouse School. James I retained his connection with the Charterhouse, becoming the first royal governor of Thomas Sutton's foundation. Since then, the Charterhouse story has continued. Wellington, Gladstone, and Cromwell have all been governors. The Charterhouse appears in the writings of Daniel Defoe, Charles Dickens, and William Makepeace Thackeray. Indeed, Thackeray, Robert Baden-Powell, and John Wesley attended school here. When the school moved to Godalming in 1872, the brothers remained at the Charterhouse in Clerkenwell.